Mm-hmm. Oh, this is easy. So this is we do two things, and your listeners need to get a pen and write this down. It would change their whole competitive career. Number one, we keep a hit list. A hit list is a list of people that I want to beat. Okay, it's like revenge, right? People say, "Oh, you shouldn't be motivated by revenge." Hey, you know what? I am. Okay. You've given me 3 silver medals and I want to win. So there is. So I have a hit list because psychologically what happens when I go to a tournament and I see Steve Kwan on my side of the bracket and I'm going to have you in the semis, I might actually get scared. So you beat me 3 times this year. You're the guy that's going to keep me from winning a state title possibly. And it's worrying, right? And so I'm like, it's fight or flight or fear, right? There's 3 things. You have fight, flight, or fear. And really the guy that fights, that runs, is braver than the guy who just sits there and broils in his own fear because he needs to get off his ass and do something about it. So if I find myself fearful, I'm going to go into the gym and I'm like, oh, I wonder if Steve's going to be here. Oh, he's beat me 3 times this year. He's in the way of my state title. Oh, I don't know if he's going to be here. I heard their team's going to be here. Oh, the weight brackets are released. You run over, you see your weight bracket, or you pull it up on your iPhone. You're like, oh, there's Steve. He is. Oh, he's on my side. And you just start wilting, right? But what if I say, okay, Steve Kwan's on my hit list. There's about 12 others too, so you're not alone. There's 13 of you. And I'm freaking excited. And I'm taking some of you guys out. So now I'm like, hey, I heard Kwan's going to be at this tournament. I hope their team's there. Because you're on my hit list, dude. And I got you. I want to scratch you off my list. And so now I go to the tournament and I look for you and I don't see you. And I'm kind of disappointed. And I'm like, God, I hope that son of a bitch is here. And then I'm like, I don't know, I don't see him. And then the brackets come out and I pull it up and I'm like, boom, good. I got Steve in the semis. It's freaking time. I got to take these other 2 guys out and me and Steve are going to go. Okay? So a hit list, it's life-changing because it just does like a role reversal. Now I'm excited. It's like hunting, right? And we use that term. I'm like, we're going hunting. And I'll have parents and I'm like, hey, you guys wrestling at the St. Charles Open? No, we're going down to Nixa. We're going hunting this weekend. And I'm like, there you go. So my parents are buying into it. The kids are excited. Hey, this kid's beat my son twice. We're going to go down to Nixa. And we're going to go hunt. We're going to go hunting. We're going to try to take them out. So see, now instead of a big scary mountain to climb, it's a fun endeavor. It's a challenge. I'm excited about it. Okay, so that's number one. You want to have a hit list. Number two, you want to write down close the gap. So close the gap. So let's say that you and I, and I'm going to use wrestling because that's the sport I know. Okay, so Steve has beaten me by, 9 points, pinned me once, and beat me by 12. Okay, so I have watched the matches. I've gotten with my coach. I have a game plan. And, maybe you turn me for 6 points with, a head lever. Okay, I know how to counter that now. I've drilled that for 2 weeks. I'm anticipating this match. And I am anticipating this match because I have a hit list, right? We talked about that. And I'm like, okay, my goal is to have a 4-point match with you. See, so my goal isn't really even to beat you. And you say, well, that's a wimpy way to do it. What kind of coach are you? I'm actually a tremendous coach because I'm not going to put that pressure on you. You beat me like 38-0 combined score and pinned me one of those times. I'm going to try to beat you in 3 months, Steve. Okay? Or if it's the beginning of season, I'm going to try to beat you in March. I've got a month and a half to beat you. So I'm pacing around before the match, and I'm freaking pumped, man. I'm excited. I'm like, let's go, boy. It's time. Let's rock. I got a freaking tricks up my sleeve. Things are going to change. You got to understand I'm coming after you. I'm not afraid of you. I got a target on your chest. You're on my hit list, Steve. I'm coming after you. Things are going to change. This is not going to continue. There's a line drawn in the sand, And now you and I have a good wrestling match, and it's a 4-point match. My freaking chest is sticking out. I'm like, there you go. Okay, get your hand raised. Hope you enjoy that. So now what psychologically happens? you're like, God, this dude Nick is a freaking savage, man. His eyes were like locked in. He looked like a freaking lion. I beat the shit out of him, and now it's a close match. I couldn't get my head lever anymore. Coach, what's going on? And maybe your dad is helping me out too, right? Because the dads really screw their kids up sometime. And they're like, what happened, Steve? I drove here. I spent $100 to this tournament, and you should have teched him. And what, and so now your dad's chewing you out, and your coach is throwing his clipboard, maybe. Hopefully not, but there's a 50% chance these things are happening. And I'm like, and my dad's like, yeah, let's get it, boy, let's get it. We got 6 weeks till state. This kid's days are numbered. So did I win that match? You damn right I did. Because my goal was to have a 4-point match, and I did it. So in sports, in track, those people are so lucky. If I get 50th place in districts, and I don't even come close to qualifying for regionals in cross country, but I ran, 32 seconds faster than I ever have, I'm pretty happy. It's called a PR, right? A personal record. We got to learn to inject that into our wrestling, into our jiu-jitsu, into our competitive sports, so I can have something to lock onto. Because your original question was, sometimes we lose our competitiveness because we're discouraged, right? And not only discouraged, I added fear, because sometimes we're just afraid, right? So it's easy to mentally prepare for a match I know I'm going to win. It's quite a bit harder to prepare for a match that I know I can win, but I know that you could win too. And it's terrifying to mentally prepare for a match when I know I'm just going to get my butt kicked, okay? So I just taught you how to do that. So you have a hit list, and you have a closing the gap mindset, and you keep a win-loss record, and you write down your wins and losses. But see, I'm going to count that as a win. So I may not count that as a win on my official record, but I have a second column that's like my personal win. And I count that as a personal win because I PR'd against you, and I'm very excited about this. Now, one last thing about the hit list. I used to keep this when I was a kid. I don't know why, I just did it. I probably should have done it in college too. I actually had a great college career and was pretty successful. As an All-American, and placed at U.S. Open a couple of times, beat 4 Olympians. So I've done pretty well. But I didn't accomplish all my goals, just like most of us don't. But I do think having a hit list could have been something that I should have continued to do. I did not continue to do that after high school, or probably even into high school. My last year or two of high school, I think, is probably when I quit doing that. But I remember being a kid, and I took my notebook out, and I have a hit list, and I remember this like it was yesterday. But I was 12, second year of wrestling, 13 maybe. And I take a pen, and I'm scribbling this guy's name out. It's probably Jimmy Ecton or Zach Russell. They're first guys that used to just beat the crap out of me. And then 1 year later, I started teching them because I just went psycho, my brother and I, and sold our 4-wheeler, bought a wrestling mat, and we just went psycho. I remember scratching the name out, and I was like, I don't want to see even one piece of ink from the original name. And so I'm scribbling, and you know how you scribble until you cut a hole in the paper? And my jeans had like ink all over them, right? And I just scribbled everything. And there was a freaking big oval hole in the paper. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just, I don't think it's necessarily a good or a bad thing to kind of hate your opponent. But some of us do, okay? And I'm not saying it's bad. You do what you want to do, Some people, and they want to hug and kiss each other on the cheek. That's cool too, right? A lot of MMA guys do that, and there's not one of them that can't kick my ass. But for me, losing is very personal, and in an individual sport, it's just like it scars you, right? And so, for me, having a hit list and just scratching these people's names off, and then guess what? Their weight bracket. I could care less about it when I was a kid. Even in college, I could care less about a trophy or a plaque or a medal. I didn't care. I wanted weight brackets because I got people's name on my wall. And I used to say, I own you, because I own you if I got your name on my wall. right? And your name is below mine, okay? Or your name is to the left of mine because I went to the right because I'm the champion. And I used to think about, and when I lost, that kid's got my name on his wall, and it would bother me. So, there's some talking points and tips there about how to develop that competitive muscle. And the hit list is very powerful. You should do it. And I even got a couple of guys, I share this story with my athletes all the time, and I say, do that in your career, And so we got a kid, Greg Amos, one of the best wrestlers we've ever had, won high school nationals, won state a couple of times, wrestled at University of Nebraska, didn't work out for various reasons, but love this guy. And he told me, it was 3 weeks ago, because I made my nephew at a tournament at St. Charles High School, and he's like, yeah, I piss off my bosses. I'm like, why? He's super motivated, right? He's works in corporate America, and he's doing great. He goes, he's like, I told my boss's boss, because I said, you don't look at your boss, you want your boss's job. Figure out how to get that. Reverse engineer that. Then you're going to make money, guys. And Sean Gant has done this with Chrysler, worked his way up so fast, and now he just branched off and started his own business with a business partner, and he's going to be super successful. Already has been. And then Greg did it. So two of my guys from the years past have done this. But Greg said, I went to my boss's boss, and I started chatting with him. I forgot how that all went, but he's like, I'm coming after your job, man. You better get promoted. Because he doesn't have the social skills a lot of us do. He's kind of an MMA fighter personality sometimes. But I do think the hit list is very awesome. And we can use that in life even when we're done competing. So there you go. That's my... There's my ideas there as far as that competitiveness and how to build it. It's very important. It's super fun and exciting.